Welcome everybody. Today's lesson is about the nth term test. This is the third test we're going to learn out of 10. This test is only good to tell if a series diverges. Similar to the telescoping series that converged only, this also has one-way traffic, but in the opposite direction. Okay, so if you're trying to show that something converges, don't use this. What it says is, if you have the limit as n approaches infinity, I'm not sure why that infinity is rising up, it's like levitating. As n approaches infinity, a sub n, this part, if it's not heading towards zero, if it's heading towards anything else, then the whole thing simply diverges. End of story. You don't have to do or show any work. Done. Now the important part is what I have written below. Let's say that this does head towards zero. That doesn't mean it converges. It just means that it doesn't automatically diverge. Okay, you have to try one of the other tests. We seriously just can't tell. Sometimes a sub n will head towards zero, and it's going to diverge anyway. Okay, so again, the best way to learn this is to simply try some examples. I have 3 of them for you, and this will be a nice short day. Here's number 1. All right, in this problem, I'm not asking you if it converges or diverges. I'm telling you that it diverges. I want you to prove it to me. So what you do is you circle the summand, that's this part right here, and call it a sub n. If I back up one slide, we're supposed to take the limit of this a sub n as n approaches infinity. We're going to see if it's 0. If it's not 0, we're done. All right, what's the limit of that? As n approaches infinity of a sub n. Well, I think you can see from L'Hopital's rule, or L'Hopital's rule, it's going to be 2/3. And so we're done. We simply say, since 2/3 is not 0, this diverges by the nth term test. That's it. It's all you have to say. It's all you have to write. There you go. Now, if this doesn't make intuitive sense to you, then consider this analogy. This might help out. Let's say that I said, okay, put a 1 in. All right, see what you have. Put a 2 in, put a 3 in, and you continued your entire life, and so did I. Working together, we're putting in numbers that are like 1 million. I'm getting old, my hair is all gray, and I'm getting feeble. And we get to the end of my life, and I'm adding things that are freakishly close to 2/3. If you put 1 billion in, you got like, hey, 2 billion over 3 billion and 4. That's pretty much like 2/3. But if I've been adding all my life, and I'm still adding, plus 2/3, plus 2/3, plus 2/3. Do you see how I'm never going to get a good answer? I'll be long dead, and you're still somebody else is taking over my work, adding 2/3 forever. This thing is going to add up to infinity. This is diverging. Even though 2/3 itself is a nice fraction. If it's not 0, if you're not adding 0 by the end of your life, your sum is not going to add up to anything finite. That's why the nth term test works. If you don't approach 0, you diverge. Plain and simple. All right, number 2. Verify that this thing diverges, the series. Well, again, if you head towards infinity, I think you can see that the 1 and the plus 3 are pretty much useless. I mean, infinity plus 1 is just infinity. And so really, we have n over the square root of n, or the square root of n squared, which is just n. N over n is 1. And you know what 1 is not? It's not 0. So since 1 is not 0, this will diverge by the nth term test. Let me formalize it slightly. All right, one of the easiest tests we can possibly have. Nth term. I always look for it first just because it's easy. All right, last but not least, number 3. This time I'm going to ask you whether it converges or diverges. And I look at it quickly, and right away I know the answer, because staring at this a sub n, I'm like, where is that heading? And L'Hospital's rule would tell you that it's heading towards 1/4. And since 1/4 is not 0, this is going to diverge by the nth term test. Well, if you were hoping for an easy day today, your wish has been granted. We now have 3 tests under our belt: telescoping, geometric, and nth term. And so far, geometric is the only one that works both ways. You can have a converging or a diverging geometric. The nth term is only for diverging, and telescoping is converging only. So far, a 3 out of 10. Great start. See you next time. Take it easy, my friends.